any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
When you walk out on that field today, ask yourself this question. What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We made it! We made it! We made it! We made it! I'm going to the house! I'm going to the house! When I step on the field, I send one message. And this is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it. It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? It's hot now. It's hot now. It's hot. We made it. I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up with chin straps. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from them. He's a man. They can be a hit just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's more idea. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Oh, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We made it. I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. It's a wrap. Game over.
And no, I am so not ready. I am so not ready for this show, and it's supposed to be a really good show. But hey, man, I got to tell you, I'm just trying to get myself together. Hey, Carolyn Phillips Grogan. Anyway, it's Throwback Thursday here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. NBA draft last night. No real surprises. Any one of the top three picks could have gone number one. It was not LaMelo Ball. It ended up being a young man by the name of Anthony Edwards out of Georgia. He went to Minnesota. Ball went to not Golden State, ended up going to Charlotte with Michael Jordan. And the Rockets found a way to trade out of the draft that they had just gotten into because of a trade with Portland and Trevor Ariza. And then they took what they got from Portland and that 16th pick in the draft, and sent it up to Detroit for a future pick. Don't know what year, don't know what round, don't know. But from what I understand, it saves Tillman Fertitta and the Rockets some money. They can use the mid-level exception that they got for Trevor Ariza for, I guess, a free agent player, which they can start making free agent moves as of 5 o'clock p.m. today. So, again, Rockets are a conundrum right now. Don't know if Russell Westbrook's going to be here. Don't know if James Harden's going to be here. Don't know. I thought they were going to get a young player in the draft and kind of start to build a little differently than they have in the past, but it looks like the new general manager is on the same mindset, if you will, of Daryl Morey. And, oh, yeah, by the way, Daryl Morey did a pretty good job of putting some young talent around Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid over there in Philly. So that's all I got. I guess I could go ahead and wrap it up. But we got special guests that are going to be joining us today, so I gotta get my A game together, got to dig in my bag and pull out the right club and try and tee off a little bit better than I did to start the show. Kris Gardner, Houston Roundball Review, will join us to hopefully help us make sense of what is going on down there off of Crawford. Because right now it just looks, is it Crawford or LaBranch? Right now it just looks strange. San Antonio, Keith Hennig, got themselves a couple of nice players. San Antonio looks like they did better for themselves, picking up a young man by the name of Devin Vassell out of Florida State. 6'7", small forward, 2-guard kind of guy, 13 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. But the good thing is he shoots over 40% from the three. So there you go. There you go. And then they got a young man that, obviously is near and dear to my heart, Trey Jones, 6'3" guard out of Duke. And he was the ACC Defensive Player of the Year, 12 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists. So Pop loves that. Bring me the D and let us see with head coach Greg Pop and me. All right, Carolyn Phillips Grogan. Hi, sweetheart. How you doing? Hope you're having a great day. CJ, I see you there. I see you there. Also see everybody tuned in. Gina Fleming. What's up, Black and Gold sister? I've got Pittsburgh going 10-0 this week. Pittsburgh finishes this weekend 10-0. Write it down. Book it. It's going to happen. In fact, I probably would do better going through my football picks, and I will try to figure out these Houston Rockets right now. I'd be better trying to figure out the picks this weekend for football than I would being able to figure out these Houston Rockets. So stick and stay. Again, Chris Gardner will be coming up in just a little bit. We'll try and make it make sense right here on the lunch break on the Legendary KYOK. If you want to get in, 281-453-1000. 281-453-1000. Again, it is the lunch break. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's AJ Jones with the lunch break on the Legendary KYOK AM 1140 and 92.3 FM. It's that time of year when we are reminded of all the things we should be thankful for, and that it's more blessed to give than to receive. So with that in mind, on Wednesdays from now through Christmas, we'll give you a chance to win a gift certificate from Butterball. That's right, you can win a gift certificate for a Butterball turkey on Wednesdays on the lunch break between 12 and 2. Just be the right caller, and your Butterball turkey will be on us at the Legendary KYOK AM 1140 at 92.3.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who've helped people that have been injured or wronged. Have you been diagnosed with cancer? Are you one of the millions who have taken Zantac or other generic versions of this popular drug to help treat stomach issues? Then pay close attention to this message. The FDA said it detected low levels of a probable cancer-causing chemical known as NDMA in Zantac and other generic forms of this popular drug. They've banned sales and even removed it from the market. If you've been diagnosed with cancer and you've taken Zantac or a generic equivalent, call the legal helpline now. You could receive a free cash award and have your medical expenses covered. And there's no upfront cost to you. They only get paid if you win. So please call now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816.
The Legendary KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legend continues.
If you are trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 800-961-2730. 800-961-2730. That's 800-961-2730.
I'm going to tell you how you can get real health insurance for as little as $6 a day. Yes, now you can get affordable health insurance for you and your family immediately, starting at just $6 a day. And coverage is guaranteed regardless of your medical condition. That's right, for about $6 a day, you can have guaranteed health insurance. And there's dental, vision, and prescription coverage too. You owe it to yourself and your family to make this free call right now and learn more. There are no deductibles, no waiting period, no contracts, and coverage is guaranteed. Call National Health right now for your risk-free guaranteed health insurance quote starting at just $6 a day. Call now.
800-797-0921. 800-797-0921. 800-797-0921. That's 800-797-0921. Paid for by Go Health.
I'm Ben Tankett, and you are listening to The Lunch Break.
All right, y'all, back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It is our Throwback Thursday. And, man, I tell you what, we can throw it a number of different places. Since Chris Gardner is going to be joining us in just a couple of minutes to talk a little bit about the draft, about basketball and the Rockets and all of that. But yeah, let me jump over to football. Can I do that real quick? Because, man, I'll tell you what, it's hard to pick these games this weekend. It is hard to pick these games this weekend. In fact, if somebody gets 10 wins this weekend, I'm gonna know something. Y'all get 10 wins this weekend. Y'all pretty good. The game tonight, who's gonna win that one? Arizona at Seattle. Who's gonna win that one tonight? I gotta believe Seattle's gonna bounce back, right? I mean, Seattle's lost, 3 out of 4? Let's look at the schedule here. They lost 2 in a row and 3 out of 4. 2 in a row. They lost to Buffalo 44-34. They lost to the Rams 23-16. There's no way they lose 3 in a row. No way. At home. Russell Wilson's still the quarterback, right? I don't care who's in the backfield, who's the wide receivers, who's on defense. Russell Wilson is still the quarterback tonight, right? At home. Pete Carroll's still the head coach, right? I mean, I'm not saying that Russell Wilson is head and shoulders above Kyler Murray, but they ain't there yet. Kyler ain't there yet. I mean, we can't just write off everything that Russell Wilson has accomplished in his relatively young career and over-magnify everything that Kyler Murray has done in his, right? I know they've got D-Hop. I think over there now you got to call him DeAndre Hopkins. I don't think you can shorten his name. I think you got to give him all his letters the way he's balling over there in Arizona. And I know y'all ready to crown Cliff Kingsbury the head coach of the year, but there's no way Seattle loses 3 in a row. Let me look at Arizona's last 3. Arizona's won 2 out of 3, and wow, they won 4 out of 5. And everything in me is saying Seahawks. Hawks. I mean, I know it's not going to be loud in the stadium because they don't have the ability to put 100,000 screaming fans in there like they normally would. I don't know. I think I'm going with the Hawks. I'm going with Seattle, I think. Isn't that a good idea? Seattle's a 3-point favorite at home. Somebody help me. Won't somebody help me, please? Keith Hennig said Seahawks. Keith, you and I are both off to a very slow start. You're number 10. I'm not. You're number 10 in the rankings. I'm not. So let me get these rankings out. Oh, okay. I'm at number 8, tied with Amber. You're at number 10. And I'm not feeling good about it. I'm not feeling good about it at all. Somebody talk me off the ledge. Is there any way possible Seattle can lose 3 in a row? When's the last time Seattle lost 3 in a row? I need to know that. Gosh, imagine if Bill O'Brien hadn't tried to destroy the Houston Texans from within and had not traded DeAndre Hopkins to Arizona or taken David Johnson from Arizona. there's at least one win that would not be on the table. At least one, if not two, for Arizona. So Arizona would at least be 5-4, if not 4-5. Because I know that there were at least two games that DeAndre single-handedly helped with the win. Like, you don't just throw that up to one of Seattle's random wide receivers, not named Larry Fitzgerald, and get the same result that you got at the end of that game last weekend. And I think he's had a couple of big games to start the season. So, man, imagine. I know it's fool's talk. I know it's, make believe. I know you can't do that, but just imagine. If Bill O'Brien hadn't been a sleeper cell inside the Texans organization. I mean, imagine being the guy that facilitated the trades of DeAndre Hopkins, Jadeveon Clowney. You let Tyrann Mathieu walk away for nothing. You didn't even offer Kareem Jackson. And, you got rid of Dwayne Brown. Those five right there is enough to get you banned from the league. Not Bill O'Brien, not Billy O. All right, let's take a break. I'll be right back. I should have special guests right after this on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. Oh, don't forget, it's Thaw Your Turkey Day.
The legendary KYOK 1140 AM. The legendary KYOK 92.3 FM. Radio stations in one.
You're home. You're a diabetic. You need supplies, but you don't want to visit the pharmacy. What do? Call US Med for home delivery of your supplies. If you have diabetes and you're worried about going to a crowded pharmacy, pick up the phone in the safety and comfort of your home and let US Med deliver them to you with free shipping. And now if you test your blood sugar 4 more times a day and inject insulin 3 or more times a day, you may qualify to get a new continuous glucose monitor at little or no cost, which may eliminate the pain of pricking your fingers and helps you make smarter diabetes decisions. Plus, we'll send you a 90-day supply and bill your insurance company for you. Get some peace of mind. Call US Med today.
800-417-0851. 800-417-0851. That's 800-417-0851.
Let's be honest. Wheelchairs are heavy, bulky, and ugly. If you carry a wheelchair in your car to take care of a loved one, you know how hard it is getting that clunky, old-style wheelchair in and out of your car. Introducing the Feather Chair Wheelchair. At 13 pounds, it's the world's lightest wheelchair. It folds in seconds and fits neatly in your trunk, backseat, or closet, so you can take it everywhere. And it's only available right here. Order yours today and get a free wheelchair case, a $50 value, yours free. The Feather Chair. The world's lightest wheelchair is just $4.99 with easy payments as low as $16 a month. Sorry, no Medicare or insurance accepted. So call right now to order yours.
800-262-4690. 800-262-4690. 800-262-4690. That's 800-262-4690.
Hi, I'm Larry Scott, host of the Not So Christian and Me Show. Join me Saturdays for great fun, interviews, music, and the latest news surrounding our world today. We are the show that cares to hear your voice and opinion with real conversation in a no judgment zone. So join me Saturdays from 1 to 2 p.m. on the Not So Christian and Me Show, right here on the legendary KYOK Radio, 1140 AM, and the all-new 92.3 FM and KYOKradio.org.
This is Brian Courtney Wilson, and you're listening to The Lunch Break.
All right, y'all, we back on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It is our Throwback Thursday, and let me get some intro music for my next guest. Let me get him his theme song.
I have respect for guys games and what they've gone through. At no point in my career will I ever back down. I will never back down. I have respect for guys, but I will never apologize.
He says he dunks on everybody, Chris. He says he dunks on everybody. He says he dunks on everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, from the Houston Roundball Review, dunking on everybody is Kris Gardner. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great, brother.
Yeah, that's your theme song from now on, bro. From now on, it's Blake Griffin. I will never back down.
That works. As long as he's a Piston, I'll ride with that. May not be for another 2 years, but yeah.
Well, let me just tell you, man, it's a lot going on, and I need you to help me make it make sense. So the Houston Rockets, let me make sure I understand this. I'm not even going to get into Harden and Westbrook just yet.
Okay.
They trade Robert Covington away for a familiar face, Trevor Ariza.
Mm-hmm.
We know that they just didn't want Trevor Ariza. They ended up getting a first-round pick in this year's draft at number 16, which Portland owned.
Right.
And Portland was going to make the pick for the Rockets and then send that player and Trevor Ariza to the Rockets for them to figure it out from there.
Correct.
We figured that they were going to move Trevor Ariza because, they didn't just want Trevor Ariza. So before the draft, they figured out the great plan is to trade Ariza and the number 16 pick that they just got to Detroit for a future pick. In what draft, we don't know. In what round, we don't know. We just know one day the Rockets are going to have a pick courtesy of Detroit.
Yes. That pick is top 16 protected the next 4 years, top 10, 2 after that, and then maybe a little bit more before it could come second-round picks, 2 second-round picks.
Huh?
It's highly protected. There we go with that. Highly protected.
What?
And the Pistons won't be good for a while, so it may be a while before they get that pick.
Okay, so now I'm hearing that it allowed the Rockets to clear some cap space, and now they can use a mid-level exception to entice a free agent after 5 o'clock tonight. Okay.
Yes, they could use the full exception of $9.3 million rather than the $5.7 million exception. So with the 9.3, their belief is they'll be able to get a quality free agent, ideally, let's say a big man. And but the overriding issue, AJ, is if I'm a legit free agent, why would I sign here right now with so much uncertainty? Right. Okay. Yeah. Your look says it all, brother.
I'm trying real hard.
But at least they have that ability to do so. So, some agents, some players just want the money and they'll worry about other problems later.
But let's just be real. How many $9 million serviceable big men are there out there?
Well, you don't like the ones I'm thinking of like Serge Ibaka and Christian Wood from Detroit, obviously, will probably get more than the 9.3 million. I think Christian Wood's starting salary demand will be 10 million, and then 10, 12 million, and just go from there. So then you don't like Aaron Baines? Aaron Baines he's a nice big man. He's probably not worth the $9.3 million exception, but he might get it though. Depending on the market. It's all about the market, AJ. What the market bears.
So the Rockets are going to overpay for a marginal big man.
I didn't say that.
I know that. I know that. This is the Rockets. It's them. We know this. They could have drafted a big man last night. I think with the 16th pick, they did get a big man and send him to Detroit.
So I'm gathering you didn't like what they did so far?
Yes, that would be accurate. I don't like what they're doing. I don't know why they're doing it. In fact, can I just go ahead and say it? Tillman is broke, ain't he? His money tight, ain't it?
Everybody around the NBA says that. Tillman does not say that. Remember the Rockets spent a whole $4.6 million to give Detroit for Detroit via the Lakers pick, which ended up being possibly the last pick in next year's draft. But they wanted to show you that, hey, we're spending money on that draft pick that they overpaid for, to show you that they're spending money on that a second round draft pick. So they're not spending wisely right now. I'll say that. I do believe Tillman's have money problems. I agree with everybody on that for sure.
Let me tell you, I used to be a banker, and I used to be a corporate banker. And typically what people who've had money try to do when they're losing money is to look like they still have money. And when Tillman Fertitta went searching for a payday loan for billionaires a couple of months ago, it was obvious that this man had money. He leveraged his entire fortune on businesses that were not COVID-proof businesses. And he propped them up with a high-interest billionaire's loan.
High interest.
Very high interest. It was so high, there were people that didn't even want to lend it, regardless of how much money they were going to make off of it. So now you got this guy who has two multi-millionaires that want to get away from him, that will be hard to move, and he's got to fill out a roster that right now is not competitive, and he's trying to look like he's got the money to do it, and clearly he doesn't.
AJ, the Rockets have said this week that they are willing to go into the season and be uncomfortable with James and Russ still on the squad, and then deal with things as they come. So they're going to hold out for the best offer that they can for Harden, as they should. I think they should do that.
I agree.
And right now, the offers for Russ are not setting the house on fire. So hold on to him too. So then it's on the players, Russ and James, to decide if you're going to be professional, bust your butt in practice for the new head coach, new GM, your teammates, and then, especially in Russ's case, improve your trade value for February, March this year, the deadline, or the summer. The Rockets don't have to trade them. I don't care how much James wants to go to Brooklyn. They don't have to trade them. And I really hope they hold on to get the best possible value that they can. If that takes this season, next summer, so be it. Then it's on James and Russ to play hard, play well, winning basketball, because if they don't, they hurt themselves.
We got Kris Gardner, founder of Houston Roundball Review, joining us here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK Throwback Thursday. I agree with all of that. Now let's kind of do them independently real quick. All Russ needs to do is stay healthy this year, and he increases his trade value, because people know who Russell Westbrook is.
Yes,
and they know that this style of play has not allowed Russell Westbrook to be who Russell Westbrook has been before. Russ has never been a volume three-point shooter. Russ has always been a guy who has facilitated the offense and been able to average a triple-double over the last couple of years before getting here to Houston.
But AJ, and we've said it before on your show, Russ's best basketball last season with the Rockets was when Russ said, three-point system, forget it.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my thing, get my numbers. I'm going to help everybody else get their numbers, and we're still going to win. So who could say Stephen Silas won't continue to do that or maximize that?
No, I agree. And that's why I say I feel like Stephen Silas is kind of getting the short end of the stick. No one even knows what kind of offense Stephen Silas is going to put in, and I don't think that's fair to him. But again, if Russ wants out, Russ just has to show that he can play the majority of 82. Well, how many are they going to play this year? 72?
72, right.
So he's got to show he can play the majority of 72 games. And somebody is going to give Russ a lot of money to play for them, as soon as they can. If Rajon Rondo can keep finding jobs, Russ Westbrook is going to be around for a while longer, as long as he wants to play.
But Rondo is a free agent.
I get it.
Russ has 2 years left, and then the player option, which we all expect him to exercise because it's $40+ million in that third year. He's not going to turn it down. So 3 years left on his contract. Do you want? You're the Rockets GM. Do you want Mr. Ball now from Charlotte instead of Russ?
No.
Do you want what the Knicks have?
Nothing. You know, you don't have to go into it. No.
So right now, who in your mind, which NBA team gives you something that you think is 90 cents to $1 value for Russ in exchange for Russ?
Well, I was going to ask you that. Based on what we've heard and read, what do you think is the best deal out there? The John Wall for Russell Westbrook is not there because we don't know if John Wall is going to be the John Wall of old when he comes back from an Achilles injury on top of a previous injury before that. I'm still not clear on what the Clippers were offering in return for Russell Westbrook.
I don't believe it was ever publicized what they were looking for. I was one that threw out Paul George in part of that deal. You know, Paul George coming off a rough playoff, so was Russ. But it was never really specific player mentions of what the Clippers would offer to get Russ, and now they're probably going in another direction anyway.
Yeah, I saw a recent move that they made that made me think the same thing. I felt like if it was more like giving back the Rockets some of what they gave up previous years, like Lou Williams, Montrezl Harrell, that kind of package with somebody who can handle the ball on a semi-consistent basis, that might be, you know, the move to go coming from the Clippers as opposed to, you know, what the other deals were out there. But then there's always that you want to trade the guy out of the conference as opposed to sending him to a competitor.
True, but I want to get the best deal, period. If that happens to be somebody who's in the same conference, so be it. You know, Russ has only been a Rocket for a year, so he doesn't have a lot of ties to the city like James does. So just get the best deal possible. If that's somebody here in the Western Conference, fine. Don't be afraid. So you face James 2, 3, 4 times a year. If I got the best deal that I think in return for him, it happens to be somebody in the West, whatever. Let's keep going.
You just kind of brought up something that I have a question about. Hey, Kimberly Armstrong, how you doing, love? Here's my question. You know, we know that both of them won out. Is there a scenario where you move James and really talk Russ into staying and running the new look Houston Rockets similar to the way that he did in Oklahoma City?
In that scenario, Russ would be the man. So talk to him. See if that agrees with him. I think it could, you know, based on what you got for James, you know, why not? If Russ one of his issues was accountability and he wants to be the man, he'd be accountable then for sure. He's now the man in Houston. Why not?
Yeah. We got to take a quick break, but when we come back, we can look at the James Harden piece of it. I know he wants to go to Brooklyn. I know, obviously, there have been talks about him in Philly with Daryl Morey and, of course, Doc Rivers. So let's kind of look at those scenarios and what could be the situation there. And then I don't want to say this, but I want to go TMZ a little bit when I come back because I got an interesting message early yesterday morning, around 3 o'clock in the morning. And then it was also covered on Undisputed with Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless. So I want to kind of run that one by you, if you will. Okay. We got Chris Gardner joining us here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM, trying to help me make sense of what's going on down there off of, is it Crawford or LaBranch? Where's the building down there?
I say LaBranch.
Yeah, I think it's LaBranch too. But we'll keep talking about it because right now my head is still itching. If you want to get in, 281-453-1000. That's 281-453-1000. This is the guy to ask because I'm telling you, he knows more about basketball than most folks ever will. And, of course, he knows Houston basketball. So y'all keep it locked in. Chris Gardner, Houston Roundball Review right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. Just real quick, Butterball turkey. Of course, it is National Thaw Your Turkey Day. If you did not get that turkey taken out of the freezer this morning, call home, get the kids to pause their class right now and take the turkey out. It is National Thaw Your Turkey Day. All right, we'll be right back right after this on the lunch break.
Begging you, don't take your love away.
Again I say unto you, if two of you shall agree on earth as touching anything, it shall be done for them by my Father who is in heaven. For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. Matthew 18, 19, and 20.
That's the gospel.
And we're KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's AJ Jones with the lunch break on the legendary KYOK AM 1140 and 92.3 FM. It's that time of year when we are reminded of all the things we should be thankful for, and that it's more blessed to give than to receive. So with that in mind, on Wednesdays from now through Christmas, we'll give you a chance to win a gift certificate from Butterball. That's right, you can win a gift certificate for a Butterball turkey on Wednesdays on the lunch break between 12 and 2. Just be the right caller, and your Butterball turkey will be on us at the legendary KYOK AM 1140 at 92.3.
1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legendary KYOK.
Hey, what's up? This your boy James Fortune, and you are listening to the lunch break. Keep it locked.
All right, y'all, back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. Kris got a guy who's been listening for a long time. Kenneth said, yo, love the show, especially loving hearing Kris Gardner on the show, like his basketball knowledge. Question, why do you try to keep guys who don't want to be here? Doesn't that cause friction in your locker room?
Yes, it very well could. But again, I don't want to take back pennies on a dollar.
Right.
Because players are unhappy.
Right.
You know, and it might get to a point a year from now, 2 years from now, that they just completely disrupt chemistry and you really have no leverage and you just want to get back what you can for them. Rockets aren't at that point right now. So until they get to that point, I'm going to wait.
Mm-hmm.
I want NBA teams to give me the best offer. Rockets, I choose to believe Rafael Stone is not a sucker. So don't take back nickels and dimes. You know, no, we're going to wait this out.
Mm-hmm.
Because I haven't heard James and Russ say, I don't want to get paid.
Right. Wanting out is different from I don't want to get paid.
Yeah.
Both of them owed $103 million over the next, or $130 million over the
130, yes.
132. The next 3 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And both of them have that player option in the final year?
Correct.
Okay. Now, what is the time frame when they can force their way out?
It'll be in the second season, so prior to opting in to the third year. So, depends on the wording of the contract, but there's a deadline that they will have to exercise that third year, the player option in that third year of the contract. So it depends. Most likely it'll be June of 2 years from now.
Right. Okay. Gotcha.
Before free agency.
Okay. So technically after the end of next season, not this season coming up, but the end of that next season.
Right. But like I said, it all depends on what the contract is, what the date is in the contract. So prior to whatever date is agreed upon that they signed a few years ago, because, some players are different. Some players might be December.
Right. So obviously we've heard James wants to go to Brooklyn. Does Brooklyn want James? I mean, I know you threw out a couple of names of guys that we can get back. Spencer Dinwiddie was one.
Karis LeVert. Jared Allen. And a lot of picks.
Solid. I'd take him all day. Not heads up, but obviously him and that deal is nice. I like that.
Oh, I like Karis LeVert, Dinwiddie, Jared Allen, Taurean Prince, draft picks. That might end up being the best offer that they can get. But there's no rush. But from the Nets' perspective, they have to decide if the fit,
right?
James, Kyrie, and KD. That's a lot of firepower. But then what else? it's not a lot of great defense there either. And Kyrie, great talent. But Kyrie is his own dude, man.
He is.
He has his own mentality and mindset. James does too. So the two of them, I'm not sure how long they could get along for the long term. You know, the first couple of months maybe be great, but over the full season, 2 seasons, they might get each other's nerves.
Yeah, there's this overwhelming theology that James Harden can't alter his style of play that he developed here in Houston, but he didn't have that style of play in Oklahoma City. And I think we forget sometimes that these guys have played a whole lot of basketball before we started focusing on them in our respective cities. I mean, James has played AAU ball, James has played, college ball, James has played Olympic ball. I mean, there's a whole lot of styles that James Harden has had to play. Why do we just feel like James is going to go there and demand to be the guy he was here, even if he doesn't have to be that there?
Because of the recent track record of James with Dwight, of James with CP, and now James and Russ, I guess, have decided that they can't work together to maximize their individual skills. So why should we think James could fit in Brooklyn? Because he says so? We don't have reason last few years to really believe he's willing to change. He said at the end, when they lost to the Lakers, the post-game presser, he said he's willing to do whatever, if that means play off the ball. He said all the right things.
Mm-hmm.
Then 2 months later, he wants out.
Yeah. I'm glad you segued to that. I'll come back to what you said about Dwight, CP, and now Russ. So that ties in with this cryptic message that I got at 3:45 in the morning that went on for several pages, if you will, talking about one of the underlying factors why James and Russ both ultimately won out. One of the first things that they said was the bad blood between James and Russ is overblown. That James and Russ are like brothers who get into it but lose no love with each other. Like if you see them fighting, you want to help the brother that you like, and they ended up both beating you up because they're still brothers. Like that is not, like neither one of them have said, I don't want to play with you and you don't want to play with me.
Okay. See, that's the mentality I had and belief I had before these last 2-3 weeks.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what has changed. If anything has changed, that's why I'm kind of baffled and befuddled why they both went out and won't give Stephen Silas a chance to make it work.
That was the other part of the message, that they have zero problem with Stephen Silas, that they both are pro Stephen Silas, been waiting on him to get his chance, were excited about giving him a chance. But the bigger issue was that they were not consulted or given a heads up about Mike D'Antoni, Daryl Morey, and then I'll get into part 3 in a minute. But it's not like they wanted to have the final say, but they just wanted to have a heads up. Hey, it looks like we're not going to be able to keep Daryl Morey, and specifically said James was like, man, I wish I had known. I might have been able to get him to stay.
See, I've heard that as well. I just don't buy it. Tad Brown has been a constant with the organization for years. Rafael, he's been there for years as well. They didn't just all of a sudden decide not to include, I hope not, decide to not include James in personnel decisions they have for the last, since he's been here. So that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And based on what Kelly Iko and the Athletic reported, Mike D'Antoni on the flight home, his last flight, team flight, coming back from the bubble. He talked to all the players and everything. Mike already had his mind made up that he was going to step down and step away from the Rockets. So I don't believe James could change Mike's mind at all.
Yeah, and I guess it's more of might not been able to do it, but wish he could have had a chance to try. So I get you on they've included him before now, and why would they not include him on that? So that goes to your perfect setup, man. That goes to the next part. That Daryl and Tad and those guys had been the buffer, if you will, between James and Tillman. That Tillman has always had the mindset that, hey, I'm the around here.
Well, I can believe that now. Okay.
And I don't have to include my employees in my discussions or my decisions, which is a normal happening in the basketball community. Like in that environment, that's not abnormal to say, hey, we're thinking about doing this. What do you think? Not necessarily saying that they're going to do what the James Hardens or the Russell Westbrooks or the LeBron James want them to do, but at least the, hey, we want to do this, realizing that it will affect overall their careers and they might decide to play them somewhere else.
I can believe that because pro sports, but especially in the NBA, the front offices include the superstars in the discussions, the personnel decisions, the personnel moves, to at least keep them in the loop.
Right, more than any other sport, more than football, more than baseball, more than any other sport. The NBA, that is almost normal.
Yes, and Tillman's coming from the business side. I could see him having a different, trying to bring that business mentality that got him successful in business, bringing that mentality to the NBA and to basketball. Ain't the same thing. It's two different worlds. So I could see that as a reason for friction, much more than the info that was tossed earlier this week about Tillman being a Trump supporter. Who cares?
Well, that's where I was going next. One of the last straws that broke the camel's back was supposedly a major blow up that happened between Tillman and Morey. That Morey just said, I think I'm done. I need to go figure out what else. I'm going to spend time with my kids. And the word got back to James and Russ that this guy, it's not going to be business as usual. He's not at all interested in what you all thought about Ty Lue, what you thought about Lucas, what you thought about Stephen Silas, or anything. So Morey goes away, gets an offer he can't refuse from Philly, comes back, and then James and them are like, this is crazy. And supposedly there were recent comments made from Tillman without Morey in the middle about the recent election and about Trump that made Harden and Westbrook both say, we're concerned about the direction of the organization. And it was what they were saying was no concerns about Stephen Silas, but concerns about the ownership, front office, that kind of thing.
Well, I have been concerned, and colleagues and friends have been concerned about the organization since Tillman took over and didn't have to do anything about his political beliefs. I just have concerns about Tillman and his effectiveness running a basketball organization. So if Tillman said a magic word or phrase that was a final straw for James and Russ, that's something different. But that's on them. But still, they are the players. They are the employees. Tillman is the owner. As long as you sign my name correctly, spell my name correctly on that check, and I get it on the 1st and 15th each month, direct deposit or whatever, I don't care what you think as an owner.
Chris.
Go ahead.
Chris, that's you and me. That's you and me. That's us.
True.
That's
Very true.
But Russ is on the tail end of it. James is still missing that elusive piece of hardware on the third finger. And we're in the midst of a movement where guys are no longer just settling for that name being on the check and getting it on the 1st and the 15th. Now they're saying, I don't have to do this. I don't want to do this. And also, by the way, I want to have my voice heard. Whether you do what I want you to do or not, I've not heard either of those guys say it had to be my way. What I'm hearing is it's going to affect everything. It's going to affect everybody. At least give us a heads up and let us decide if that's the direction we want to go in. That's the environment. We might not understand. My owner of the station doesn't ask me when he wants to change the format. I either play country or talk sports, one of the two. So it's just a different mentality than what we're used to.
But see, that's two different things. Wanting to be included in the decisions is different than being upset at the owner's political beliefs. So I wouldn't put anything past Tillman because, as I've said and I believe, it's the problems, successes, failures start at the top.
Yeah.
Tillman is the owner. The culture issues start at the top. The problems that have popped up in the last month or so, somebody is leaking this info. Somebody feels comfortable going public with these issues. So it's all on Tillman. But then again, Tillman supposedly offered James $50 million, a 2-year extension for $103 million.
Yep.
So is James that done with the Rockets because of Tillman that he turned down that contract extension?
I got to get Sybil Wilkes on here. Let's get the latest update on COVID-19. As we come back, we'll answer that question, all right? It's good discussion with Kris Gardner right here on the lunch break on the Legendary KYOK. If you got questions, email them, text them, call me, whatever you want to do. 281-453-1000, 281-453-1000. Text me, 832-403-5005, or email aj@kyoksports.com. All right, we'll be right back. Here's Sybil Wilkes with the COVID-19 update.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know today. Despite disappointing losses suffered by Democrats in U.S. House races across the country this month, the congressional body appears to be returning to the same old. Nancy Pelosi is set to return as Speaker of the House, and Congressman James Clyburn will keep his number 3 position as House Majority Whip. The Boy Scouts of America filed for bankruptcy in February, and now almost 93,000 claims of sexual abuse have been filed as well. The organization's national chairman, Jim Turley, wrote that the bankruptcy filing was done to ensure that the organization can compensate all abuse victims equitably. A study by the University of Oxford has found that nearly 1 in 5 people virus is also diagnosed with a psychiatric disorder like anxiety or depression. Researchers say more must be done to determine why the connection between the coronavirus and mental health disorders exists. Please visit SybilWilkes.com to subscribe to my free daily newsletter. Be informed, be empowered.
Hi, this is TJ from South Park. I listen to the lunch break with AJ Jones on 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
All right, we're back here on the lunch break on the Legendary KYOK. It's Throwback Thursday. It's also National Thaw Your Turkey Day. Get it out of the freezer. Go ahead and put it in the refrigerator. Let that thing thaw out. I think you need a day for every 4 pounds or something like that. I think that's right. Adam Pena says Daryl Morey bankrupt the team. Adam Pena said Daryl Morey bankrupt the team. We got a caller holding, but to answer your question, is James that through that he would turn down a record contract extension? Would have paid him $50+ million a year. Yeah, he did.
Okay, he did clearly. So that's where we are. I am truly all in favor of the players standing up for themselves and speaking up for themselves. But I think James hurt himself focusing on just one team. Brooklyn, I want to go to Brooklyn. You're limiting the Rockets' flexibility options to get a trade that they think is great for them. You want to be traded? I want to be traded to a winner. I want to be traded to a team that has a chance to win. That opens up the possibilities for Houston to go out there to maximize their trade value for you. Don't just focus on just one team.
Yeah. And that's where the Rockets have the leverage because they don't have to trade him to Brooklyn. They don't have to trade him to that team. But there's a team that popped up that is like the New England of the NBA. And they also might have just had a devastating, unexpected injury to a player that they thought they were going to have back, and that's Golden State. And if the reports coming out of there are true, that Klay Thompson suffered an Achilles injury, James Harden going there now makes a whole lot more sense than what it did before. And oh yeah, by the way, though, would you want to trade Harden to them of all people them?
But for who? Who else do the Warriors have that they would be willing to trade for James Harden? According
to that team that beat the Rockets without Durant, without Klay Thompson, anybody. I mean, anybody. Look, I got to hit the top of the hour, and then we'll take our caller. But I mean, everything in Golden State seems to be gold. So, bro, I don't know. I'm being silly. Let me hit the top of the hour. We'll be right back with Kris Gardner right after this on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK.
The legendary 1140 AM KYOK Conroe. 92.3 FM K222CX Houston.
The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the hosts, guests, and callers who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
All right, y'all, back here on the second hour of the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm going to hold you over a little while longer, Kris, if you don't mind. Let's go to the phone line. Hello, you're live on the lunch break. Who's this calling?
Hey, how you doing, AJ?
Hey, I'm doing well. How you?
Man, everything's well. Hello to your guests.
How you doing?
Man, all right. When are we going to stop allowing these players, and I know everybody has an opinion, but to go to your workplace and start demanding...
I'm sorry, that was my fault. Go ahead. Say it again.
To go to your workplace and start demanding political issues to come forward because you don't like a particular person in office, then you have this identity politics that spills over into the workplace, and then you subsequently says that I'm not going to work because you have this relationship with the political figure that you may not agree with. That is somewhat troubling. And as a business person, how long do you think it's going to take before they tell you, well, hit the road?
Yeah, and Black Child, I'm glad you called because you know you're fair-minded and I love that you think how you think and you believe in people thinking how they do, not just following the norms, if you will. Here's the only thing I would say. I get that point of view, but I see it almost from a different point of view. If they have whatever problem, let's take politics off of it.
Okay.
If you don't like the way we make burgers, if you don't like the game plan that we have on our team, I would rather know it and move you than to try to force you to accept it and have that kind of disgruntledness infect the other guys that don't have a problem with it. I'm not saying that you always appease people, but if you're not going to be a part of the vision and the plan, I'm taking politics out of it.
Yes, sir.
As a business owner, I would much rather know who's for the team and on the team than who's on the team and not for the team.
Because that permeates. You the head of the team. The team was built and constructed around you, and when you become a cancer or you become an eyesore, then that permeates onto every other ball player who's on that team who may have sacrificed getting the rock or may have sacrificed their shots in order that you might get your shots, whether you own or not that night. But you're going to get your shots because the offense got to go through you. I'd get rid of that cancer before he can bat his eye. And I wouldn't trade him to Brooklyn. I'd send his butt down there to, who's the worst team in the league?
Detroit.
Man, I'd ship him down there. You laugh if you want. I'd ship him down there to Detroit, dog, and I'll bring in some players who want to play. Where did we ever get to this where we can disagree without being disagreeable? Reggie Jackson and Billy Martin, literally going at it on the dugout. But when it came down to performing and winning World Series, you couldn't separate them.
And Blackshear, these ain't those days, Doc. These are not those days.
Truly.
And I know people that literally, man, they having a hard time looking at their own children right now, trying to figure out that Zoom screen. So they'll trade them right now if you let them. So, man, that's why I say, bro, Tillman might just need to be who he is, the owner, and realize that he can own this problem. If you don't want to be here, if both of them don't want to be here, then find a way to move them in a way that's going to help your business be as good as it can possibly be in spite of them.
Yes, sir. I'm in total agreement. It's time for us to, literally the same thinking vote to take back control of the reins of this this wagon that has run amok.
Yeah. Now, you do me a favor. You fix your head coaching job and your defense down there in Dallas. Do that for me, Blackshear.
Man, until that owner get his butt off that field, you gonna have these problems. We told him that what's his name wasn't a great coach in the first place.
Yeah.
And you know, he didn't do well in Green Bay. He took another man's product and flourished with it.
True.
You know, but you know, he's not a builder.
Yeah.
And then you have that youngster over there in Kansas City, you know, who begging for an opportunity.
Right.
But you overlook him because of whatever differences. Man, until he come out, I know his baby, and I know he's the highest grossing organization in the country, in the world, really. And you know, so it's hard for him to tell him to come off that field.
Right. Yep.
Until they get football people, football-minded folks who's going to be about the business of football. You traded your entire secondary.
That's right.
For this.
Yep. And brought in a guy that can't spell defense and Mike Riley. So,
man, Jesus, man, I'm cringing, man. But that's what you get. You get what you pay for.
That's true.
That's what he wanted. And my whole issue about this thing is that they really try to set. I mean, and I know this getting into a philosophical belief, but I really believe they try to set my man's quarterback,
Dak Prescott.
I think they try to set him up.
Yeah.
And subsequently, he fell right into that thing by all that tipping he does.
Yeah.
Now he's out and his career is in jeopardy now.
Well, they need to pay him a check, Doc. They need to let him find a check in his Christmas account that he never saw before and see if he can't come on back. But Blackshear, I appreciate the call as always. Be safe out there, man. All right. Good brother right there, TD Blackshear. Blackshear Insurance. You know, we have to get him to sponsor part of the Keeping Up with the Joneses Pick'em Challenge. But, you know, again, to his point, you know, whether it's politics or not, if somebody is not going to help your organization, you got to find a way to make sure they don't hurt your organization.
Agreed.
So we've gone down all the TMZ stuff. We've gone down all the feelings and all the emotions. And it's to the point where James Harden says, you cannot throw money at this. I don't want to be bought. I want to go. Russ Westbrook, I don't want to be here no more. I want to go. And again, everybody wants to make it an issue about those two. I don't think it's an issue about those two anymore. I think it's an issue about issues about other stuff, and it all adds up to we want out of Houston.
And I think they're at that point, but from the Rockets' point of view, they should not take back garbage.
Absolutely.
For them.
Absolutely.
And it's going to be very hard for them to get dollar for dollar value for both of them, either of them or both of them. I know other media colleagues would say the Rockets, James Harden is a top 5 player, top 7, top 10, whatever. Drew Holiday was 5 first-round picks, 3 from the Bucks, and 2 swaps. So that's the market for Drew Holiday.
Yep.
So you got to set a ransom to get Harden back in return.
Yep.
That's what they should do.
Right.
But if Tillman is like, I think more and more we're seeing it. Tillman is like the NBA's Jerry Jones.
Yep.
If Tillman says, I want both of them gone, make it happen. And so much so that he handcuffs Rafael into 50 cents on the dollar. That's what's going to happen. And then Tillman will realize, or the fans will show him, we're not happy with this.
Right.
And you'll see it in the sparse attendance. So Tillman has to decide what he wants to do. Because if James and Russ want out, just flat out want out, then the Rockets are really going to struggle to get the best value in return for them. It's going to come down to what Tillman wants to accept back in return.
Yeah.
Rafael's job is to get close to dollar for dollar.
Yeah.
If Tillman says no, I don't care. I don't want that. I just want them gone.
Mm-hmm.
I hope we're not at that point yet. I hope Tillman's a billionaire. I hope he's done some strange things. Hope he ain't crazy and stupid.
Yeah.
To get to that point. But we'll see. I don't still believe right now, November 19th, there's a rush to do a deal. Period.
I agree with you on that. I don't believe we're at D-Day. I don't believe this is the 11th hour. And I don't believe that he's at the point where, I mean, obviously, if he was, then they would just swap John Wall for Russ Westbrook or Russ Westbrook for Ben Simmons and go on. And they're not at that point because both of them have about the same money and similar skill set when healthy. But to that point, I said this yesterday.
Uh-oh.
Not every time do you give away a superstar, and I'm just saying that, a star, do you be able to get a star back?
True.
Chicago didn't get a star back for Jordan. Cleveland never got a star back for LeBron twice. Miami didn't even get a star back for LeBron when he left there.
That's true, and it's very hard to get equal value for a superstar. And sometimes, many times, those teams that traded a superstar are never the same.
Right. That's what I wanted to get out there.
That's where the Rockets and what Tillman needs to decide. If we do trade James for less than maximum value, is he willing to accept lower return on the court and in the seats? Because that's going to hurt Tillman's pocketbook.
Yep.
Tillman should understand that.
Let me play a quick commercial. I'll be right back.
A team of lawyers who've helped people that have been injured or wronged. Have you been diagnosed with cancer? Are you one of the millions who have taken Zantac or other generic versions of this popular drug to help treat stomach issues? Then pay close attention to this message. The FDA said it detected low levels of a probable cancer-causing chemical known as NDMA in Zantac and other generic forms of this popular drug. They've banned sales and even removed it from the market. If you've been diagnosed with cancer and you've taken Zantac or a generic equivalent, call the legal helpline now. You could receive a free cash award and have your medical expenses covered. And there's no upfront cost to you. They only get paid if you win. So please call 800-251-7816, 800-251-7816, 800-251.
There she is.
800-251-7816.
All right. Stand by one more quick.
KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legend continues.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's AJ Jones with the lunch break on the legendary KYOK AM 1140 and 92.3 FM. It's that time of year when we are reminded of all the things we should be thankful for, and that it's more blessed to give than to receive. So with that in mind, on Wednesdays from now through Christmas, we'll give you a chance to win a gift certificate from Butterball. That's right, you can win a gift certificate Cynthia Cooper, for Butterball Turkey Day on Wednesdays on the lunch break between 12 and 2. Just be the right
turkey.
Your Butterball turkey will be
your turkey.
You know what? That's the problem. I can't hear y'all in my ear.
AM 1140.
From Jamaica.
You
listen to the lunch break.
All right, y'all. We're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. It is our Throwback Thursday, and we got to throw out all that stuff we were talking about right there. Chris Gardner, stop talking that TMZ stuff about James Harden and Russell Westbrook. I was giving you all that good advice before our special guest just came on. It is none other than not one, not two, not three, but four-time WNBA champ. It is Basketball Hall of Famer. It is the head coach of the Lady TSU Tigers. It's Cynthia Cooper, better known as Coop. Hey, Cynthia Cooper.
I like that introduction. That was a nice introduction. Wait, hold on. Let's play that. Hey, let's run that back.
Listen, don't be mad. I gave Kris some intro music. I just had to give you a hype man introduction. So.
No, dude, that was great. That was great. It's great to be on.
Well, we're glad to have you. Before you came on, we were talking about the situation down there with the Houston Rockets and Russ Westbrook and James Harden wanting out. You've been a superstar player. Give us a little bit from the mindset of a player, why a player would just flat out say, I don't want to do this no more right here, if you can.
Well, sometimes you're disheartened a little bit when you don't win a championship, and something, you've won scoring titles, You've come really, really close, and you've had some bad luck, but you just weren't able to get it done. And athletes, at the end of the day, you won a championship. You want your legacy to include an NBA championship if you're in the NBA. Now, obviously with the Comets, we were able to win not one before, but at least you want to play. You want your legacy to be that you didn't just score points. You helped your team win games, and those games led to a championship. So I think that's what James is searching for. That's what Westbrook is searching for. They're searching for that elusive championship as they, get further and further down the line in their career.
We got Cynthia Cooper joining Kris, Gardner, and myself here on Throwback Thursday. And Cynthia, fortunately for you, you never played under a dominant personality in the form of an owner. What is it like? I'm sure you might have had some colleagues that did. What is it like when you got that dominant personality of an owner that, it just, for some reason, it just makes the whole thing, the dynamic, a little different than it normally would be?
I don't believe that. I believe that the owner is the owner and the players are the players. And this means, the owner doesn't go out on the court and doesn't miss baskets or free throws. He runs his team. He tries to give them everything possible in order for them to be successful. I think players step out on that court and they expect their front office, their general GM, the office to give them what they need, the tools they need to be successful. I believe that the Rockets have done a fantastic job in their front office, a fantastic job with really bringing in people, making trades to try to solidify a team that was championship worthy. I don't think you point the finger at any one person. I don't blame the owner. I think, he's done a fantastic job. He'll continue to do a fantastic job. And we will bring an NBA championship back to Houston. I believe that. It doesn't happen overnight. Sometimes you run into stumbling blocks. But you, as a Houston Rockets fan, you got to believe that the process is well underway. And if you got to reset that process, no worries. Look at what the Lakers did. The Lakers reset their process, and in 2 years, they won a championship. Everybody was talking about LeBron when he went out with the groin injury a couple years ago, and then this year they come back and they win a championship with Anthony. So it is what it is right now, but it will be great.
Yeah, I like that. LeBron James missed the NBA Finals one time in 10 seasons. One time in 10 seasons. Let that sink in.
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to tell people. Everybody want to talk about LeBron and hate on LeBron. I'm like, LeBron has won a championship everywhere he's been. Name another player that's done that besides me. Just saying.
Wait. I like how she just slid the light across the desk and said, read that. Names?
You know what I'm saying? Like, boom. Check out that stat sheet. Check out that line. Check out those numbers. Everybody want to be numbers. Everybody lives too much in the moment. Everybody's on social media. What happened today? We're talking about growth. And if you want to win a professional championship, you have to put together the pieces of a puzzle that work together, that believe together, and then win championships together.
I like it. Cynthia Cooper, 4-time WNBA champ, Basketball Hall of Famer, and head coach over at Texas Southern with the Lady Tigers. That mentality transferred over there in Third Ward. How are the ladies receiving it? How are things going down there as you guys get ready to start?
Well, my ladies are wonderful. I mean, we are growing every single day, getting better every single day. It's important to note that we have this whole COVID thing hovering around us. So we're getting tested 3 times a week. We're making sure that we continue to just stay home, social distance, wear a mask, every possible protection that we can, do ourselves and our team as well. We try to do. We've had a couple kids that's positive, so we've had to shut down our programs a couple times during this little preseason time. period. But right now they're doing great. They're practicing hard. I gave them a light practice today, so I'm really a popular coach today because I didn't run them a lot. So they're really liking Coach Cooper today, so that's good. I feel good about that. But it's only because they put in the work in the prior weeks, and we were doing 2-a-days to make up the time we lost because we were shut down due to COVID. So we've been working hard. We have some good pieces. I'm excited about the possibilities. And yeah, the mentality is, the passion that I have for basketball, the passion that I have for winning, all of that, I try to infuse them with every single practice and every single game.
Cynthia Cooper joining us here on the lunch break, along with Kris Gardner from Houston Roundball Review. Let me ask you this: none of us has ever done this through a pandemic, a virus that's around the country. What are you saying to the young ladies that are positive? What are you saying to the young ladies that aren't, to just keep their minds even going, let alone focusing on basketball?
Well, it's all about motivating and encouraging, and then being patient. Because sometimes, when you have a kid that's positive, she might not have symptoms, but she has to quarantine for 14 days. Then her roommate also has to quarantine for 5 to 10 days. So, and we test over and over again to make sure that they don't turn up positive. So there are a lot of moving pieces as you try to get this thing rolling here during the season. But you really just try to stay in touch. I think VP Granger, Kevin Granger, has done a fantastic job with really putting the tools in the right place at the right time for us to have a level of success and be able to practice and work out and do those things. The testing is there, the trainers are there. Everybody is ultra, sensitive, and they watch out every single move, so that if we do find one person positive, everybody does, all the other people don't go down the drain as well. So, it's a team effort. And then I encourage my team to stay put, just stay at home. Just leave here, go home. Sometimes I'm going to make them tired enough to go back and get some rest, right? But then other times it's just on them. Everybody wants to go out, and I get it. But this is not the time. Now is the time to be disciplined. You got to be disciplined what we're doing. We're trying to start the season, and we need everyone to come back negative with their COVID tests.
Absolutely. Kris, I know I'm dominating the ball, brother. Don't hesitate to jump in, man. I don't mean to.
That's just to be nice. You dominate the ball. No, just kidding.
But I do want to ask one more question. I like that you gave some respect to the athletic director, and I got to be honest with you. I'm real proud of the SWAC. I'm real proud of the HBCU conferences that literally said, "Nah, we gonna wait and see how all this plays out before we just jump back out there." And that has given them time to see what else is happening and put the right things in place to be able to come out with the most knowledge, the best game plans they can for the benefit of yourself and these young ladies and young men. And I applaud the heads of these conferences, the heads of the schools, because, man, you guys have really, really, really made folks like me, who's a parent, feel good that, I think my child's going to be all right.
And the NCAA has done a fantastic job with giving us, kind of a blueprint of what we need to follow. When you go look at President QH, he has been on top of it. Like when you look at anything that happens, he is on top of it. And look, these are difficult decisions to make.
Right, absolutely.
Definitely the man for the job, and Granger as well. It's not easy to tell a coach that doesn't have a kid that's positive, your program is shut down because one of your players was near another player in another sport. So Granger has done a fantastic job. Our compliance department, I can name them all. They've just done a fantastic job with keeping us going. And listen, it hasn't been easy. We need the finances in our program. We need our programs to run. We need the students coming to school, but safety first. They've always put these kids first. They've always put the student athletes first in everything that we've done.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Kris.
Coop, what players on the squad you think are going to stand out this season?
What players do I think are going to do what?
do stand out to look for players to watch on the squad this year?
So Nia Mitchell is always going to be a standout. We have Janae coming in from, she's not transferred, but she came in from junior college out in Arizona, Central Arizona. And Janae, I think, is going to do a fantastic job. We call her JB. She runs the 1 and the 2. She's a lefty. She can shoot the 3, get to the rim. And I always tell her, whenever she's in practice and she's playing, I tell the post players, don't forget to get your hands ready. Janae is on the court. But she's a great passer. She creates not just for herself, but other players. You look at Tamara, she's done a fantastic job with coming back, 1, in shape, and 2, ready to get better, and she has gotten better from last year. Ataya Bridges, whatever her last name is, I just call her Ty because otherwise I'm going to get confused with all of the T's. I'm looking for her to have a big senior season. I think it's going to be fantastic for her. She's once again going to play the 1 and the 2, but what I like about T and Ty is when they're on the court together, they play some of the best defense in the SWAC, period. And so I'm looking forward to seeing that again this year. We have a new player, Tiara. Tiara's going to do fantastic. She's going to hopefully, replace the shooting we missed with Rochelle. So hopefully she'll be able to. Today she was filling it up. Once I gave her the green light, I'm like, look, you're here to shoot. I run plays for you to shoot. When you get the ball in your hand, that's your first option. Look to shoot. Stop worrying about a play when I run the play for you to shoot. And so she's gotten her confidence with her, and she was one of the kids that had some time away from the basketball court, but now she's back. And I'm looking for Ryan and Lauren to step up as well. They've gotten better. They came back in shape. We talked over the break, and they've been really working hard on their games and really looking for them to make an impact. And I mean, I can go on and on, but at the end of the day, Brittany's been working fantastic. She's been working hard. So everyone's been working really, really hard, and I'm looking forward to seeing them do some fantastic things.
We got, again, Cynthia Cooper joining us here on the lunch break. Y'all know her. You know she brought a lot of joy to this city, and she's back, and she's running the program over at Texas Southern with the Lady Tigers. She's joining Kris, Gardner, myself here on the lunch break for Throwback Thursday. I just looked at the schedule here, and y'all ain't playing to start things off. You got my alma mater, Tulane, to open things up on November 27th, and then Stephen F. Austin before you guys get into conference play. Is that your mentality, that you wanted to bring in some tough opponents before you jump in that conference play?
Always. I always try to play tough preseason, get kids ready. Baptism by fire, just get them ready, get them mentally ready, physically ready for the vigors of the SWAC and what they're going to see in the SWAC. A couple of these players have never played against the players in the SWAC, and they don't know the toughness, the level of skill that the SWAC provides, and they're going to see day in and day out. So I try to give them that toughness and create that toughness with our preseason schedule. Everything has just been so different this year with us cutting down the preseason schedule and, how we have to travel and how we have to eat. And so you've got to do some extra things to make sure that we're still bonding as a team, because that's very, very important.
Absolutely. Go ahead, Kris.
Coop, do you have any concerns about some games being canceled this year because of COVID?
Yeah, I think I have major concerns about games being canceled. There are some minimums that we have to meet in order for us to qualify for the tournament and NCAA play on the Division I level. And so I think we're going to do as much as we can to make sure that we reach those limits, because we want to win a SWAC championship, but we want to make noise in the NCAA. We don't want to just be SWAC champions. We don't want to just be an HBCU. We want teams to respect us when we walk into the gym and cheer us when they put us on their schedule.
Again,
Coop,
Kris.
Coop, do you have any thoughts on the NCAA women's tournament being in one location, like the men are going to do?
I guess the only thought I have is do whatever it takes to have a tournament. Sometimes we want to be too much of an individual, And we see when something works. Look at what the WNBA did. You know, the WNBA followed the Big Brother league, the NBA, and they had a very, very successful year. The attendance, the hits were up on social media, and everybody was interested in what was going on in the WNBA. They had a huge platform for their social justice voice, and I thought it was fantastic. They made the same sacrifices that the NBA players made in order to stay in the wobble or bubble. And so I think we need to get on board with what's best for the NCAA or what's best for the tournament. And I don't care what you do, but I do care that you do it. We need to play. We need to get back to some normalcy, but we have to do it safely.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. Again, Cynthia Cooper, Kris Gardner, both joining us here on the lunch break, and so glad to have you both. Cynthia, I got a question for you. As you were just talking, you've been at USC, you've been, to a couple other schools. How is the recruiting different when you're at an HBCU versus being at a school like USC? Is there anything that you have to say more of or less of because you're coming from where you are right now?
Well, there's a lot of differences, and I'll say the first one, the elephant in the room, is the money. So the finances are totally different. The budgets are totally different. You have the luxury of doing some things and creating some things that our recruits might love. But when you don't have the budget at HBCU, you have to be a little more creative. I will say we recruit the same players. So talent is talent all over the world, all over the nation, all over the state, and all over the city. When you see talent, you want them. You want them to play for you. I would just say this. I'm so comfortable with who I am. I grew up in the inner city, and I grew up around African American love, African American passion, African American desire and determination and drive. That's what I grew up around. So I brought that to USC. I brought that love to them. So if you want to be a champion, we weren't champions at USC before I got there. We were champions after I left. Mm-hmm. And I think you could do the exact same thing at an HBCU. There was a time when HBCUs were the only option. So don't look down on HBCUs. And if there's something to be said for playing for somebody that looks like you, being cheered on by people who look like you, going to class with people who look like you, and feeling comfortable in the skin you're in wherever you are. There is a whole lot to be said because you can be the best version of yourself when you're comfortable where you are. Now, you give me the top 5 players, 3 of the top 5 players in the nation, and I'm going to the championship game too. And that's whether it's facilities or whether we sent you a really nice card or whether we sent you this video or whether we sent you stuff on Instagram or not. You give me the talent, we're going as well.
I love it. Go ahead, Kris.
Okay, well, Cooper and I go back a long way. I don't want to age her and that, but
well, you kind of did. Y'all first put me on the show. That's a throwback show.
Oh, well, that's him. That's AJ.
It just happened to be that day. And I didn't hit you with no, I didn't. I promised.
I'm just saying.
But you're a legend. You know that. We know you're a legend. Who's the other top teams in the SWAC?
Say that one more time.
Who are the other top teams in the SWAC?
Well, you have Jackson State. That's always going to be a force. You have our rival Prairie View A&M. But everyone is going to be good this year. I think, they have one more year under their belt. The Gardner's going to come around and do some nice things. Southern is always tough and a force to be reckoned with. But I think the team that beat this year will be Jackson State. They're very, very talented. I think they're very well coached, and she does a tremendous job. But you can't sleep on anybody. That's the thing. That's the lovely thing about the SWAC. You got to bring your A game every single night because anybody can pick you off. And so the Alabama schools can pick you off. When you go up to Alcorn, they can get you. They have a new coach this year, so we're wishing her the best except against us. But yeah, the SWAC it's a beast, man. It's a beast.
I think that's good too, that there's that level of competition throughout the SWAC. It does make it a lot more enjoyable to watch. And I think you're going to have a whole lot more eyes on it than maybe even in the past. And I hate to bring this up. There were obviously a couple of games where more extracurricular stuff dominated the game than the game itself. How are you preparing the ladies to go back up against those teams and to avoid those kind of situations and not let that energy take over?
Well, first of all, we have COVID, so it's going to be easier this year. So ain't nobody shaking hands, nobody's crossing, we're socially distancing, so that'll be very easy.
Okay.
I really made my team understand. I really wanted my team to understand what happened and why it was bad. Not just bad for us, it was bad for women's basketball because our product, it was damaged when that happened. So when that interaction happened, it damaged our entire product. And we don't want to do that. We want to have longevity. We want to gain fans, not lose fans. We want to showcase our talent on the court. We don't want to react to something off the court and it cost us a championship. Because at the time, we're number 2, and we had the number 1 team come to our place. And we had 5 players out when we played that game. 5 of our top players.
Wow.
When we played that game against Jackson State at home. So it ended up costing us potentially a regular season championship because we were not able to play at full strength. So, you live, you learn, and you don't make the same mistakes again so that you put yourself in a bad situation again, right? It happened. It was the first time that had ever happened to me. So as a head coach, and I was just looking around, it was devastating for me because I knew the hard work that my team had put into the preseason and during the season, and all of the toughness that they demonstrated, and for it to kind of be messed up that way or thrown away in that way, it was very discouraging.
Yeah, good answer. Go ahead, Kris. I know you've been here, but go ahead.
Oh no, I'm looking forward to basketball season starting. So COVID or not, I'm just waiting for basketball to start. That's next week. So let's get it going.
Yeah, me too. And you know what? And I love TSU. I love historically black universities. I think that we have to hold ourselves to a higher standard because there are some things that we say and do in the SWAC that we wouldn't say and do if we were at USC, for example. Mm-hmm. So why is it okay to do it, in the SWAC? It's not okay. Hold ourselves to a higher standard. There is a prestige that's associated with being a part of an HBCU. Live it, own it. And that's what you should demonstrate every single time. You carry that on your shoulders. That's the chip you carry on your shoulders when you step into a game.
Yeah, I love that. I love that mentality. I've been talking on this show about championship mentality. When I look at the 3 professional sports teams here in town, again, that championship mentality. Look at the college teams, championship mentality, and you definitely bring that to the table. Let me ask you a question, though. Obviously, we're not in that same season right now, but how did you talk to your young ladies about what we saw with George Floyd, what we saw with Ahmaud Arbery, and of course, Breonna Taylor? How did you handle their emotions with that and kind of channel that? And did any of them ask about protesting and be a part of that movement?
Yes. So many of them did actually protest, and they did want to be a part of the movement and have a voice. So the number one thing that I wanted to give my players was a voice, a platform to say what you want to say how you feel, and not be judged because of it. So that was important for us. So we did some Zoom calls, and we had the people come in and talk with our team just to give them a voice. And then, the protest in Houston was huge. So my players were out there with everyone else because they wanted their voices to be heard. I gave them the same talk that I gave my kids. I have boy-girl twins. They just turned 18. And I just told them, I'm like, listen, get home to me. We'll deal with everything else after that. But whatever they say, do it. If they, whatever happens, you do your part to get back home to me safely. Once you get home to me safely, we'll figure the rest of it out. But don't be the one that's, trying to make a statement. So get home. Get home to me safely, and we'll figure everything else from there.
Yeah, that's outstanding. That is Coach Cynthia Cooper. What do they call you? They call you Coach Coop? What do they call you down there over in 3rd Ward?
Well, I ain't going to tell you some of the names they call me, but no, they call me Coach Coop.
Okay. All right, Coach Coop. We're going to believe you for a very great season coming up. It starts on November the 27th. They will be at Tulane University. After that, it'll be Stephen F. Austin, and then after that, we start SWAC play. So, Coach, we're rooting for you. We got you covered down here on the lunch break.
Well, thank you. Thank you for bringing me on the lunch break with no food and then having me come on Throwback. No, I love you guys. Did I mention I love you guys?
No, you too, Coop. Yeah, you haven't gotten to that point with me yet. You and Kris go way back, remember? Y'all go way back?
Yes, we do.
We do. It's a lot of years.
A lot of years.
Now, Coach Coop, I'm going to put you on the spot just because you said that. Since it's Throwback Thursday, give me the most favorite throwback memory of your career.
Oh, man. I'm just going to go with the first thing that came to my mind. So 1988 was the Olympics, and we were in Seoul, Korea. And the gold medal game was on September 29th, 1988. And we were in Seoul, Korea. We won the gold medal. And the USOC just had a program. They just started a program, but they paid for one person to travel, one person in your family to travel over and be a fan at the game. And my mom was my person. And I was able to give my mom the gold medal, present her with the gold medal on her birthday, September 29th. So that's my throwback moment.
That's outstanding right there. That's outstanding. Y'all,
I would say the championship, but I've had so many of those. I'm just kidding.
Wow. That's what happens when you got not one, not two, not three, but 4 WNBA championships. That's what happens when you get gold medals and you got been inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame, all those kind of things. That's what happens. So, Cynthia Cooper, we're so glad to have you again. We'll hope to have you back. Thank you for honoring the request to come on, and we wish you nothing but the best of success.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thanks for having me. See you guys.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
Kris Gardner, I owe you big for that one. Thank you, Coop.
You're welcome. Bye.
All right, y'all. We got to take a quick break, and we'll be back. Kris, I gotta breathe. We'll do that next right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's AJ Jones with the lunch break on the legendary KYOK AM 1140 and 92.3 FM. It's that time of year when we are reminded of all the things we should be thankful for, and that it's more blessed to give than to receive. So with that in mind, on Wednesdays from now through Christmas, we'll give you a chance to win a gift certificate from Butterball. That's right, you can win a gift certificate for a Butterball turkey on Wednesdays on the lunch break between 12 and 2. Just be the right caller, and your Butterball turkey will be on us at the legendary KYOK AM 1140 at 92.3.
1140 AM and 92.3 FM. The legendary KYOK.
Hey, what's going on? This is Lecrae, and right now you're listening to the lunch break.
All right, y'all. We're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. Hey, Kris, does she eat macaroni and cheese, bro? Does she like mac and cheese?
I was hoping you were gonna bring that up.
I was just wondering. I'm not asking for you. I'm asking for me. I'm asking.
Okay.
Does she eat macaroni and cheese?
But yes.
Okay. I'm just asking.
I didn't want you to go into talking about baking cookies and stuff like that, because I've been known to do that too.
I wasn't gonna do that.
So
we brothers, bro. I owe you big. I need to know your sizes. I need to know if you got kids that need college tuition paid. I need to know, bro. I owe you, and the boys don't like to owe. So
not at all, man. I was. You asked if I could make it happen, and I was glad to do it, and she was agreeable to. She was cool to do it. So. Just like earlier this week, I asked if she was available, and then I asked, ran it by you if you could make it happen, and today it worked out for all of us. So I was glad to do it, and let some folks out there. I know some people.
Man, you better know you know some people. Listen, let me make it make sense to you. That's been 5 years in the making for me, maybe even a little bit longer. I I had another show called Faith in Sports, and I was trying to get her on there. And I actually, reached out to her up in Prairie View, didn't get her there. Reached out to her somewhere else, didn't get her there. And I bumped into her out at the outlet malls off of 290 the day the outlet malls opened. So wow. do the math. That's how long I've been trying to get Coop on, and you made it happen in a day.
Just fortunate. We are fortunate to make it happen because she's a busy woman, busy coach.
Absolutely.
So I was glad that she was able to do it this week, really on kind of short notice. But she was really cool about it because she wanted to know really what day was best for you. So I ran by you and you said today, and that was it. I didn't let her know that I was going to be on the show too. I didn't want to, have her say no about that. So, because of me being on the show. So.
Well, listen, let me tell you something. I would have looked at that schedule and say, okay, you just got moved. You just got moved. Yeah, you got moved. We would have made that happen whatever day she could have made it happen. So, man, good stuff that I'm hearing from her because, again, there's something about the championship mentality. Yes. And she definitely brings that. It's not what she talks about. It's who she is. And she's just literally showing these young ladies who she is.
And to the listeners, viewers, it's going to be difficult this year because of COVID and capacity attendance limitations. But if you have not been to a TSU game, been to H&PE, and have not seen Coop coach on the sidelines, do yourself a favor and come to a game because Coop's passion shines through.
Yep.
And if you have not seen her coach, you didn't see her at PV when she was coaching there, come to TSU and hopefully, especially doing SWAC play, making it happen, COVID doing the precautions and the plexiglass and all those things. You might have to sit further away this season, but do yourself a favor, come to H&PE and watch Coop coach, but then watch her players do their thing on the court too.
Yeah. No, I amen that a whole lot. I did get a chance to go up and see her up in Prairie View. And, I followed TSU through their tournament play. I went up to Baylor a couple of years ago and what have you. But, Kris, let me just say this, man. I love what TSU is doing down there with their coaching staff. They had Mike Davis, who coached on, high Division I levels at Indiana and other places and did well. And now they brought Coach Jones in afterwards. And then to bring in Coop, they got a real good coaching staff in their basketball program down there at TSU.
They do. Coach Jones, we'll see if we can get him on the show. Put that out there. Put that in the universe for having get Coach Jones on here too.
Yeah.
And I want to do this. I'm a U of H alum, but I have spent the last few years a lot of time with TSU because of my good friend and now really brother, Dr. Yadakaville over at TSU, professor at TSU. So we're trying to do big things for HBCUs, and Doc is a huge HBCU supporter, and he's a data doctor and a dean of HBCU sports. But I want to challenge the listeners and the viewers. Support us.
Yep.
Support the HBCUs. Go to the games.
Yep.
Buy the merch. Support us. Support those who look like you. Support those who share your views, share your opinions, share your thoughts. Been through what you've been through.
Yep.
AJ, you and I know years ago, as Coop said, HBCUs were the only option. HBCUs were the place to be for the athletes who look like us to shine before the others, the PWIs, started realizing what we had at HBCUs and started taking the talent away.
Yep.
You're seeing what Dion's doing it, putting together at Jackson State.
Yes, sir.
I'm challenging us to support us.
Yeah.
So get to the games, not just TSU, PV, Southern, JSU, all of us support us, because if we don't support ourselves, who's going to do it?
Man, let me tell you something. It was long before COVID hit that I started going to the Celebration Bowl, to the different bowls that they do on the HBC level. And the classics and what have you. And then, I got to meet a young lady by the name of Keisha Kelly, who does a show called The Black College Experience. And, man, we just came up with this idea of repping black colleges, HBCUs. And every Thursday, man, I'm spending money getting these shirts from wherever I can get them. And then to see Chris Paul doing it, man, during the the NBA playoffs and that, man, I'm telling you, hear me when I say this. Texas, UT is going to be all right. A&M's going to be all right. U of H is going to be all right through this. But there's no guarantee that the TSUs, the Prairie Views, the Jackson States, and so on, that they're going to be without us doing what you just said, without us supporting. And nobody told me on this mic that I could only talk about the Rockets. I could only talk about the Texans. So I'm going to give that time to TSU. I'm going to give that time to Prairie View and some of the other ones. So, man, we got to do it. If we don't do it, I promise you it's not going to happen down the dial. It's not going to happen down the dial.
Hey, man, and I want to give you props for having me on your show because for the last few years, I haven't been on anybody's show locally.
Really?
For whatever reason. I have my reasons, have my thoughts and beliefs of what those reasons are. But I just want to thank you publicly for allowing me to be on your show and share my insight with your audience.
Well, man, I appreciate you, and I didn't know that. I'll be honest with you. I thought that it was just the opposite. I when I see your rapport in the interview rooms and stuff like that, I knew these folks were having you on their shows. I knew that, and I apologize for not doing it sooner.
No, sir. You and Kim Davis, the local connection. I've been on more shows nationally than I have locally last couple of years. So, that's just the way it is. That's real talk.
Wow.
I've been on shows in New York.
Wow.
More than I have locally prior to being on the lunch break with you.
Well,
so
man.
now you blessed me to be on your show. I've been on Kim's show on Chalk Talk. So it's us helping us.
Yeah.
And I'm all for that.
Yeah, let me tell you, and I've been a Kim Davis fan, Chalk Talk Sports, for a long time. That young lady right there needs to be brought in by several different organizations to deal with Chalk Talk Sports on a global level. But we'll talk about that another time. But that's my heart, man. That's why David Grubb and Valencia King and the different folks that I deal with, yourself. Hey, man, we got to stick together. We're in the fourth largest market in the United States, and there's so very few of us on radio, television. A lot of us are doing our own thing, yes, but very few of us are getting those opportunities to be on the airwaves here in this town. And that's an indictment not on us. That's an indictment on them. But I promise you, brother, this right here, anybody that knows me will tell you, this is real, man. This is real.
I appreciate it. And, the people who look like us who have been on those shows are athletes.
Yeah.
And that's why many of them have been on those shows, because they're athletes.
Yeah.
We're talking about us,
right,
in media, in sports media, who don't get the opportunities anymore. I started with, I guess, really the godfather of us, Ralph Cooper.
Yeah.
On KCOH. Ralph gave me a chance when the other stations basically slammed the door in my face years ago. And I let him know what happened. And he said, I'll see you tomorrow at the station. So I was on KCOH for years. And then I started spreading my wings, doing my own thing, doing my podcast and things like that. But that didn't mean I was saying no to opportunities locally. I never got them anymore.
Yeah.
Until you and Kim give me a chance to be back on. And I want to say, may rest in peace, Max Edison, for making my connection happen in New York.
Yeah.
And real quick, if I can, the reason I got the connection in New York was because Max urged, encouraged, kicked my behind to make sure I attended one of his dinner networking for the Super Bowl that was here in H-Town. And I said to him, Max, that's football, man. I'm basketball. And he said, in his, I won't use the words that he used. Just show up, man. And when I got there, I met one of the guys who has his own show in New York, and we connected. And I've been on with him the last few years, being on his show, and a few other guys on that show.
You just made me miss Max like never before, and I had to learn quickly that was Max and that wasn't personal. And Max too helped me in ways that I can't even explain. And it wasn't so much how he said it. It was that he said it that meant the most to me, man. So, Kris, brother, I mean it. We got folks that are just giving you a lot of love. Fausto Cruz said, my friend Kris Gardner is awesome. Hola, amigo.
We go back a long way, me and Fausto. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hola, Fausto.
Yeah, man. And I do. I appreciate you sharing the show with your friends, man. And Keith Hennig said, please remember us old white folks, 100% behind you. And that's true. Keith Hennig, from the day he found the show, I don't think he's missed more than 3 or 4 shows. And we do. We have a lot of good listeners and viewers here, man. And they always say good things about you. So like I said, bro, I appreciate you coming on. And I hope we'll see you next Thursday at 12:20, unless something, comes up and you can't do it. But the door is always open. We'd love to have you back.
I appreciate it. And unless Rockets are not there yet for Rocket practice and, stuff for Zoom calls. But
yeah.
No, AJ, next Thursday's Thanksgiving, man.
Oh, I won't be here. You don't be here, okay?
So, yeah, I just thought about that. So, yeah, week after.
The Thursday after that. Thank you, Kris. Thank you. Y'all, tell everybody where you can find where they can find you, Kris, and follow you.
My website, Houston Roundball Review. Going across on the crawler there is also www.thehrr.com. And, of course, that is the Houston Roundball Review. So www.thehrr.com. Twitter is The HR Review. YouTube, Houston Roundball Review. Instagram, Houston Roundball Review. Google, Houston Roundball Review of Kris Gardner, KG. You'll find me. You find out how to get in touch with me. Facebook, Houston Roundball Review, Facebook page as well. So I'm out there. AJ, once again, thank you for this. Thank you for the people who appreciate my insight and my opinions and sharing. Been doing this a long time, man, since 1994. So still going strong. Houston Roundball Review, local name, national perspective. So once again, thanks to Cynthia Cooper for agreeing to join you on the show today. And I'm working on a few other things. May get a few other coaches on to be on your show. So let's make it happen. Let's work together. Let's get it done.
I appreciate it. I've always said anything that you need of me, you got it, man. And I appreciate that big time. Hey, brother, since we won't see you next week, have a blessed and safe Thanksgiving. We'll talk to you after that, okay?
You too, man. Thanks. Take care. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Everybody be blessed and do the smart thing and stay safe.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, Kris. We'll talk to you soon, man.
Take care.
All right. Hey, y'all, don't forget it is National Thaw Your Turkey Day. National Thaw Your Turkey Day. Be sure and thaw your turkey out today so that you're not trying to figure out how to thaw it out when you got a house full of, well, no, we're not going to have a house full of folks this year. You know how we're doing it. We're going to social distance. We're going to be safe. So y'all do that. All right, let me get Sybil Wilkes on here. She'll close things out. And then I'll talk to y'all tomorrow on Freestyle Friday. Donnie McClurkin up next with the Donnie McClurkin Show. He'll give you the best in gospel music and the latest in the gospel music industry. As always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I truly do love you. There's nothing you can do about it except wear your mask, wash your hands 30 seconds or more, sanitize everything around you, be sensitive to everybody around you, and give people their 6 feet. And whatever you do, when you see that racism and that foolishness, kill it. Not the person, the racism and the silliness like conspiracy theories. As always, y'all take care. And oh yeah, by the way, count them votes in Detroit. Stop trying to disenfranchise people because you didn't get your way. Here's Sybil Wilkes. We'll be back.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know today. Despite disappointing losses suffered by Democrats in U.S. House races across the country this month, the congressional body appears to be returning to the same old. Nancy Pelosi is set to return as Speaker of the House, and Congressman James Clyburn will keep his number 3 position as House Majority Whip. The Boy Scouts of America filed for bankruptcy in February, and now almost 93,000 claims of sexual abuse have been filed as well. The organization's national chairman, Jim Turley, wrote that the bankruptcy filing was done to ensure that the organization can compensate all abuse victims equitably. A study by the University of Oxford has found that nearly 1 in 5 people diagnosed with coronavirus is also diagnosed with a psychiatric disorder like anxiety or depression. Researchers say more must be done to determine why the connection between the coronavirus and mental health disorders exists. Please visit SybilWilkes.com to subscribe to my free daily newsletter. Be informed, be empowered.
All right, man. I am overjoyed. Good Lord, thank you, Jesus. Every now and then you'll live long enough to be able to have a day like this. And this was a day to be remembered. I am so glad that y'all got a chance to experience Cynthia Cooper. I'm so glad you got to hear the words from Kris Gardner's heart. And I mean those. I mean this when I say those are words from the heart. And don't ever take it lightly when somebody is grateful for what you do for them, man. Not saying you got to get all the accolades or anything like that, but that was great to hear that from his heart. It was great so that you all hear what you mean and just having the opportunity to come on here and share his knowledge and his expertise and what that means to him. So thank you for that environment, Lunch Breakers. Thank you for that atmosphere. I love y'all, and y'all are what makes this thing go. So again, y'all be safe. Y'all take care. And Lord say the same. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow, okay? All right, y'all.